So it's a way of us saying thank you for coming in here today and listening to the presentation. And that's the last commercial you'll hear. So if you're interested in seeing the Giants game, give me a shout, send me an email. My address is on the back of the book. I would love to have you. And I'll be more than happy to go with you if you need. So we saw the technology in here briefly, and this reminds me of a story that I heard once about the early days of movies. In the early days of movies, we'd pop a camera down and they would do a recording of an event. Okay, they'd stick the camera down there, it's one camera, and then have an event happen, and that's what they would distribute. And then somebody got the idea that we can move the camera around, or somebody else got the idea that we can do what they call continuity of scenes, where I've got a scene that starts here, goes here, comes back here, and it changes up. And we do this through editing and whatever else. And so now, movie experience in a very short time became much richer and much more enjoyable for the viewing audience because of the ability to splice all these different images together, animation, things like that. But even back then, the late 1800s, if you could jump from the late 1800s to The Matrix or to Gravity, people in the late 1800s couldn't visualize the leap from what they were seeing then to what we can do now with media. Do you agree with that? Where we are right now with augmented reality is in the late 1800s stage. We're just starting to scratch the surface of what we can do with some of these technologies and how we can get the information out to people. From an example standpoint, we've got a customer in the Bay Area who runs a small commercial print shop, and he's in an industrial area. And he's surrounded by small restaurants. You know, there's all kinds of ethnic restaurants in the area. And what he's doing is he's going to each one of the restaurants and he's printing up a menu or a tent card for the tables. And what they're doing is they're creating video content for that restaurant that's tied back to an AR experience on an image that's on those cards. Now the printing on this, and this is getting back to what makes it relevant for the implant print shop, the printing on this is static. You know, once the ink is down there, it can't do anything, right? The message that's tied back to that printing can change constantly. And that's exactly what they're doing with it, is that the restaurant owners are posting on the AR experience a new menu and a call to action. You know, a 10% discount on a meal if you mentioned that you saw the ad, the AR. And the thing is that this can reside in your cubicle, it can reside on your refrigerator, it'll stay there. And that's what I mean by sticky. Okay, it will stick. The messaging will stick long after this piece has been printed. So a lot of times when we get direct mail pieces, how long does it last in your house? 2 seconds?
2 days.
Yeah, it goes from here to there. Okay? The idea is how do we make that message more meaningful? How do we get that message to stay with you longer? And that's one of the advantages of augmented reality in the context of print, is that it continues to deliver that message long after the printed piece normally would have ended up in the wastebasket. So these are some technologies that printers are implementing in order to drive print, but also to drive the relationship with their customer. And I think if we talk about the implant environment, these are things that we need to be going back to your marketing departments with to talk about how do we make your experience, your customers, your prospects, your environments as well. You know, I was walking across campus here, and I noticed that this is a very bike-friendly campus. And it would be nice to have some QR or have some AR experiences across the campus where you can log in, punch a button, scan an image, and find out where the nearest air hose is, or the nearest tool bin, right? I don't know if you noticed that walking past the parking lot, there's actually tools hanging out there to work on the bicycles. Well, if I'm across campus and I don't know where the nearest one is, I might want to be able to punch into that and find out where it's at. So there's a lot of things that we could be doing with the AR. The purpose of today's event is just to make sure that we're all aware of it, that we've had some exposure to it, and to get you to start thinking about how you can link a non-print experience with the print that you guys are providing out there. So I'm going to change the dynamic of the presentation now and turn it back over to Barbara. But think about that. And if you want to go to a baseball game, send me off an email. Thank you.
So now we'd like to invite you to take a closer look at Concom Minolta. So to give you an example of our dynamic and rapid growth over the past 3 years, we have grown to 20% production color market share in the United States and 14% monochrome production print market share. So where that leaves us for production color, we're number 2 after Xerox. You might find that surprising. So we too, over the last 2 years, one of our number 1 focuses is to reach out to implants and to embrace ourselves with implants. We've been very strong commercial printers in that segment. We had to start a brand awareness campaign. And so our whole goal was to let everybody know we are big, we're reliable, we're strong, we are production print. And so that's when we started our campaign. Then we followed up with Dare to Compare, where we've been printing pieces that were direct mail or offset litho printed on one side and then printed on our digital press on the other. We've sent out about 400,000 pieces just like that to show you that we are production print. And now, 2 years later, very fast growth, we are number 2 in production color market share after Xerox. So we're very, very excited about that, and we should just invite you to take a closer look and see what we're all about and take advantage of Jim's offer. So these are implants that have counted on Concom Minolta. They took a closer look, and we're now serving them. These are some of the largest or most prestigious implants in the United States. MIT is one example. Pfizer, Pure One Imports. Briggs & Stratton, your past president. MTD, the lawnmower manufacturer, one of your members. Royal Caribbean. We have over 100 floating implants. Floating on Royal Caribbean. I always ask if I can go on one of those trips and help out. Ethan Allen. We have the implant from Ethan Allen. Dover Elevator, Pepsi. Sherwin-Williams. This is a new implant for us. KPMG is also, it's been our customer for a year now. We installed over 500 machines in the United States, production print machines to support them. Progressive Insurance, American Red Cross, the list goes on. Locally, Jim, Evergreen Valley College, Caltrans, Diablo Valley College, City College of San Jose. Any others?
IBM.
Yeah.
Intel. Okay, so, but the secret behind the company is our partnership support and what we bring to the table. We have 110 offices in the United States. Steve Rusing, the vice president for this market, he alone has five branches, 5 offices to support you. We have 250 production print specialists. You've met Jim, you'll meet David in a minute. Wide format experts and commercial print specialists. We are the only company to make a full commitment to G7. We have 47 G7 experts nationwide. And so they're there to help you develop your business, to understand what G7 is all about, like graphical standards. We actually have the vice chair for the graphical standards committee, is our national G7 integrator. He works for us directly. So we're here to support you, we're here to help you grow, we're here to help you survive, help you succeed. So I want to take a closer look at new ideas and share with you a couple of success stories. Someone mentioned electronic billboards. Let me tell you what MIT, what Steve Diamond from MIT is doing to help grow his business, non-print related, by the way. Electronic signage on the facility. So Steve has invested in little LCD signs that hang in various hallway key places, on your way to the common areas, to the cafeterias, to certain classrooms, certain major buildings. And he sells space on the digital advertising to the college student organizations, to customers, to like the cafeteria, to the organization. If the university wants to advertise a certain event that's going on, a concert or registration or anything along those lines. So great idea to grow his business within the university. Another idea I want to share with you, point of sale. MTD Lawnmower Manufacturer is, again, one of your members. And we started working with them about a year and a half ago. And we saw this very big, or very wonderful print shop. They were a 30-year Xerox customer. And I'm very happy with Xerox, by the way, which most people are. But they gave us the time to introduce ourselves to them and to sort of assess the situation. What we learned was that they had this chasm, they had this break with marketing. And they were doing a great job, hugely successful, big business, big volume. But they didn't talk to marketing. There was a break, a divide. So what we did was to help them bridge that gap. And we brought together their marketing department and the print shop together into a room like this. We had value-added content so that the vice president of marketing walked away from the meeting feeling like they had some education and they had a takeaway. But at the same time, we showed different technology, different things, idea, brainstorming that they might be doing out of house or that they could start to do. So we helped the print shop sort of educate the marketing department on what the print shop could be or is. The VP of marketing immediately said, well, wait a second. We do those, point of sale, 24 by 36s. We do those for our 4,600 dealers across the United States. Oh, really? How do you do this today? Oh, we just send those out to Staples. Oh, how much is that? Oh, well, they're like, well, when we're in a rush, they're $20 each. Okay. So long story short, 2 weeks later, the marketing department, and there were many other applications that we went through, but the marketing department there was starting dialogue, and they did invest into a very high-speed, very cost-effective technology that Continental has in this space. I'm going to let David Kircher just share with you a few examples of that.
Sure. The signage you see around the room here, this is all produced using plain paper, and it's all produced using digital